regular music show for like an hour.
Yeah. So the show that you were doing the topics on, you said that lasted for a while. Like, how many times did you guys? Was the show every week, every day? What was it?
I think it was like 3 times a month.
Okay.
Like Block Talk didn't really give you. It didn't really give you like a whole lot. You know, had like no do like radio show.
Right.
So the few product was so yeah, full platform.
Yeah. So then you went from there. You said you went to doing music and things like that on your radio show.
Yeah, on my show, it started out. It was just like an hour every other Saturday. Played everything from folk to local artists, right on up to like Spanish music, and just music that was like not necessarily known worldwide, but like.
Now, did you have guests on too, or did you just play the music?
Sometimes I would. It really depended on like the situation. But it wasn't. I wouldn't. The guests that I would have starting out, like it was mainly like just kind of like filler, because sometimes like just listening to music for like an hour ended up like being so. And then after I did that for about 2 years, then I switched over to a political talk show.
Ah. Now, was that for the same radio station or a different one?
Yeah, no, it was for the same radio station. That one ran from 2016 to like 2020, like it ended like right at the height of COVID.
Wow, so you were doing this for a while then, before the C-19 came in. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how long were the shows? How long were the shows, like a night? Like an hour show, 2 hours?
Well, the political show started out like 30 minutes, like every other Saturday. And I actually did it like in unison when I was doing the other one. And then people liked it so much that it got up to like an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was it like all politics, sticking to like what they were passing, laws and things like that?
No, it wasn't all politics. We dealt with like a lot of. So the show was called Power to the People, but like we touched on a myriad of different topics. Like I did a show about the water. I don't know if you remember like the water in Flint, Michigan, when it was they were having trouble like getting clean water. So I did a show on that.
Yeah, we're from Michigan, so we're in Lansing. It's about 45 minutes from us. I have family that lives in Flint, though. So yeah, I remember when they were going through all that. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, so we did a show on that, and then we did I think it was like a 10-part series called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. So I took the title from a chapter of Bill Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse, and then each topic that we did, it was based on something that was either going on currently, like you see now, like the 15-minute cities. So I was talking about that back then, and then or we did a lot of shows on history, Vatican, and then we also interviewed Katie Hobbs. I'm sorry. Just various people in the community or like politicians. Yeah.
So what was one of your favorite interviews, you think, or your favorite shows?
One of my favorite shows, probably the one. Right?
Oh because for you, I mean, it could be a show that you actually did an interview with somebody or the research that you had to do. Because the Flint, Michigan thing is really big, man. There was a lot of data. There was a lot of things to take in consideration, the laws and who was in charge, all that type of stuff. People don't realize, like the chemicals they were putting in or not putting in, replacing the pipes, all these things. Like who was in charge?
Probably the last two shows we did. One was on like Tartaria and the mud floods, and then where America got its name from, and then the Commonwealth, the show on Commonwealth.
Okay. Yeah, because like a lot of people don't know what mud floods are. It's a theory of ancient buildings and such, like another civilization or like in history that got buried by massive flood. And a lot of these buildings, though, is very interesting if you do the research that a lot of them will be like 2-3 stories lower than the surface. And you'll see a lot of buildings where half their windows are cut off, and then they dig down and it's like more stories down there. But yeah, so it's very interesting. You can go ahead.
And the gigantic doors too.
Yeah, oh yeah, gigantic doors and how long they said it took to make a building and tunnel systems, all kinds of things that make you kind of go, like, is it what they're telling us, or is the timeline wrong, or did it take longer than they said? Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, I definitely believe the timeline was off.
Yeah, for sure. So then, go ahead.
Like, don't you? Like, what year do you think that? What year do you think it should be? I'll ask a question like that.
The timeline?
Yeah.
It's kind of it goes like it depends. There's some evidence that shows 300 maybe be wrong, or even 1,000 years. It just depends on the research, and you just got to really dig down. There's definitely 300 that's been manipulated, but it looks like it could be up to 1,000 years. Yeah, that might freak some of the people out that are more in the mainstream. But like we go over this in the, you've been on our shows and stuff where the biblical calendar and then you have the Gregorian calendar timeline, and they don't align with each other. The biblical one is it aligns with Scripture, and the other one aligns with the modern history of what their narrative is. So that doesn't always align with what they've been showing us. And it's a pretty easy search. I think, don't you agree? It's pretty easy to find out that the timelines have been manipulated a little bit, either on purpose or they just messed up.
I don't really think you have to. Yeah, it is pretty easy to research, but I don't even think you even have to. Like, even if you didn't do any research, just like a little bit of like deductive reasoning, like you can kind of tell that like things are off.
Yeah, for sure. But we live in a world where most people don't have the time for that, right? They get so busy trying to make ends meet. So they get so busy that they just want to relax and not think about anything else, or they feel like they're stressed out enough. They don't have enough time to look. Some people, that's what they do. They find something else to do. They could be playing a sport, volleyball, pickleball, whatever, golf, or just Netflix binge watching. I don't even know if I can say that. Will I get in trouble for that? Netflix is not their competition, so I think we should be all right. Dude, I'm all paranoid now that we did that one show about social media and all these rules. I'm like, it's in my head, man. I can't help it.
I was doing a lot of truth to it, though.
Yeah, but it's just weird, like you got to think about everything you're saying and what you can't say. And I know a lot of it's competition and a lot of it's like live. So you don't know what's going to happen. So they try to limit you what you can do, like drinking. You can't drink anything on the live, especially for TikTok. Love you, TikTok. TikTok shop. So anyway. So yeah, so you said you guys did that one, the Tartarian one. That was one of your favorite ones. So what did you find out? Like, what's one of the buildings that you think is really shady? We'll say that.
Well, not necessarily shady, but like, so what you see is like a lot of like, do you know anything about the Chicago World Fairs and things of that nature? So a lot of these buildings were around during the Chicago World Fairs in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early. But they're either not there anymore or they've made them into something else.
Yes, and they did that to Detroit. They did the train station there. That thing's massive, man. And private buyers have bought it and made it into something else. But it's very interesting because the World Fairs, you guys can just check those out. Do any research on any of the World Fairs, and it will fascinate you. All these buildings they put up in like 1, 2, 3 years, they're cities and they're massive. And then they say that what they're made out of gets really shady. Like the Chicago ones, I mean, they had a whole waterway and then they destroyed it after that.
And then there's so like you've heard about like underground Seattle, right? Like the city that's under there.
Yeah, there's Seattle, and then actually the one of the first ones they said was under Chicago, going underneath the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Thousands of miles of tunnel.
There's all these like underground cities that like nobody really knows about, but and Seattle's a perfect example. They still let you go down there as a tour, but like if you ever do get a chance to go there, like it's phenomenal.
Now that Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the viewers, so they want to go. I wouldn't mind going. That stuff fascinates me. I just think it's strange that they have like their explanations are really weird on how they did it, because there's some under San Francisco too, they say.
Yeah, never believed the official story.
Yeah, and it's pretty sad. I mean, we have to question everything sometimes. If you really want the truth, but in some people's mind, they think it doesn't matter. That's not going to help them pay their bills or their mortgage, and so they just keep plugging along, right? Just keep doing what they got to do. Wake up, work their 9 to 5, maybe 2 jobs, and try to raise a family. And I understand that, but there's a point where you have to take a stand and find the truth. It might not be comfortable. It might be take you a little bit here and there, and just peck away at it, man.
So what led you down that?
I've always been like a truth seeker, and this is your interview. Look at my man switching it around on me. I love it. But no, that's really what happened my whole life. I mean, I've always asked questions, and you get in trouble when you ask questions, even in school, right? A little kid, go away, go do something else. And I just it felt like I was born to do this. I mean, trained my whole life to seek the flat out truth. And that's what I just do. It's like, it gets, when something doesn't seem right, it's like, you like comic books, the spidey sense goes off on me and it just doesn't seem right. And so I have to dig to find out why doesn't it seem right? Why aren't things aligning? And I usually find the truth, and it'll shock you. And, you've done that. You probably did the same thing with Tartaria. You go and you look at all these buildings and stuff. You're like, wow, there's no way. And why aren't they even mentioning the mud flood itself then? Right? Because even if they say they built the buildings in their timeline, which is fine, we'll say that, yes. Why aren't they mentioning these great floods to like San Francisco, up even in Toronto, so like Canada, United States, and even in Detroit, there's places everywhere where there's this, obviously there was some kind of mud thing that happened, but they never talk about that part. That's the part I think is fascinating. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, but I think they don't mention with stuff like that because they don't want to tip people off that they've been lying about history the whole time. It's the same way when they try to tell you that the Earth is a planet spinning around in space at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's going around the sun at another 1,000 miles an hour. Like, it doesn't make sense. But we've all been indoctrinated since we were young to like kind of believe that there's some of these things instead of like really like looking into it.
Yeah. So you're biblical cosmology then, right? Biblical cosmology.
Yeah. So
yes.
Like that one alone is interesting because the word planet doesn't really even come into use until Plato uses it, and he uses it in the form of the word planetes, which means wandering star. So, and when you break it down and do the research on that, he was really talking about like the spirits and things of that nature that the ancient cultures used to worship. That's why all the planets are named after gods, ancient gods.
Right. So when did you start researching that? So like, can you remember your pecking order of what went down what hole? Like, so what started you? So you started out probably in politics, right? And then you moved on from there.
I started out like, it was, I think at first it was the Watts riots. What was that, like 90, 92 or something?
Okay.
Then Waco and Ruby Ridge, the Oklahoma City bombing. I listened to that last interview with Timothy McVeigh, which was on 60 Minutes. It was like almost an hour and a half, 2 hours long, but you can never find the entire interview. Like if you look for it now, you might get 5 to 30 minutes of it. Might.
Wow.
So there was that. And then there was what happened at Waco and Ruby Ridge. So those two things, like all of those things that really started me like on the journey.
Now, before this, I mean, like you're just like a regular guy that things just didn't seem right, and then you just started digging, right?
Yeah. But I think it was 9/11. That's what really kicked it off. Like after 9/11, and then I saw how like people were treating each other, and then even how I got treated like when I went to the airport, because of a certain book I was reading. I think I was reading it was Naomi Wolf's book, The End of America, at the time. And so like the TSA gave me a hard time about it just for bringing it on the plane. So it's like after that, like that's when I really started to like kind of really dig deep. And then of course I read Behold a Pale Horse at a young age. So it's just been like a downward type. Well, I won't say downward because it's not a bad thing, but
that's upper, sir.
Upper.
You hear me talk. I call that higher level, not lower level, right? But anyway, yeah, that's good. So you ended up going from there. Then what was your next step? How about the biblical side? Was it always part of your life, and it just changed?
The biblical side was always a part of my life because I grew up in the church, but where I never thought about the shape. Well, take it back. I would contemplate the shape of the earth because they try to feed you this nonsense in school. But as far as like the biblical aspect of it, like at the time when I started reading the Bible, a lot of it I didn't really understand. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, but I still read it. But I don't think that really came into play until probably after I was like 28.
Now did you read Enoch, like the book of Enoch, any of the extra biblical, the original apocryphas, that were part of the Bible?
Yeah, but I didn't catch on to Enoch and the book of Jasher and the book of Giants until I was probably about 40.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
50 now. 52.
Yeah.
52.
Wow. That's interesting. So did that help you with the cosmology part?
No, because like I always knew that what they were telling us in school was a lie, just based off the math.
Right.
Yeah, so I always knew that it was a lie. But if you had asked me to articulate it at that time, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Oh yeah,
And
I
so,
get you.
like, what got me more into the Bible was because I would have conversations with like my sister, she passed away like a few years ago.
I'm sorry about that.
I would ask her. I was like, hey, there's this passage, in the Bible about Nephilim. I'm like, what are Nephilim? And so like she didn't really have an answer for it, but like she did the best she could. But so like then I started getting into like the mythology, the Greek mythology and the War of the Titans and stuff like that. And so I was connecting the dots. I was like, okay, so the Titans are these Greek deities.
Yes.
It appears this kind of seems similar to this over here in Genesis 6. So that's how I started connecting the dots with all of that. And so after I did that, it was just like it took off.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, when I was asking if it made sense, like, did it help? Like, does Enoch make more sense once you use, like, let's say, the flat Earth model and not the mainstream model? Because the Bible's written. All you Christians out there, I got to tell you, when you read it, it is a flat Earth book, regardless if you believe the Earth is flat or not. That's the way it's written. And then Enoch, the way he describes the sun, moon, and stars and how they rotate and go through their different stages and different the way they cross each other in the sky is all based on a flat Earth. So it only makes sense if you got that. If you try to read Enoch and still think it's mainstream, it'll never align in your head. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. And some of the things, I mean, even to this day, some of the things that Enoch are still like kind of hard to believe. Like modern man thinks that like these ancient cultures like, just kind of describe things because utilizing euphemisms and metaphors because they didn't really understand what they were looking at. Whereas I tend to take what they did a little bit more literal. Yeah, if that makes sense. Like, and then, like to me, I think history is like some of it is true, but the majority of it is a lie. But like, and the real history is in the myths and the legends that society has passed down. But it's up to you and your relationship with the Most High, in order to like kind of obtain the discernment to like kind of see through it all. Because certain mainstream society, it'll tell you if you don't think a certain way, then like you're nuts. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. So like, so you went down this one, and now I know you like to dabble in the law as well, like the Constitution, Admiralty law, being a sovereign citizen or an American nationalist. Like you dabble in that too as well, right?
Yeah, the whole sovereign citizen thing is a misnomer.
Yes.
But yeah, I do dabble.
Yeah. So like, why do you call it a misnomer? A lot of people wouldn't understand that.
You can't be sovereign and be a citizen. Citizen means that you're basically a subject of something, your property. And then, but sovereign is, you're free. So you can't be both.
Yes. They oppose each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hear that a lot though, right? So you, you understand like the whole part about the Constitution and then the Admiralty law and all that. A lot of people don't understand it or don't believe it's true. But I think do you think it's because they don't try to research any of this because they think it doesn't really affect their life directly?
I think it's that, but I also think it's that, you don't know what you don't know, and if you're not curious to know, then why would you ever go seek it out? Like some of the stuff is you have to be curious, but the thing about being curious is that once you open that Pandora's box, you can't go back. Like once you have to do something with the information that you get, because you can't unlearn what you learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you think that, I think one of the biggest issues, I didn't get a chance to talk to this with Chelsey, but we talk about it, but this is more specific. She'll get it once I say it. I think when I was just saying people don't believe that it affects them directly, but they're not, if they have kids, they're way off because they're not thinking of how this affects their kids directly in the future and their grandkids and great grandkids, their lineage. I think it's pretty selfish just to think that it's not affecting me right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But why would they even think about it if they never even cared to even think about it in the past? Like I've literally had people get angry at me for bringing up certain topics, like to the point that they didn't want to be around me, or they wanted to fight me because they didn't like certain topics I brought up.
So like even the financial system, they get mad about that. We talk about usury, slavery, things like that.
Yeah, because people don't like, I don't think most people like their ideas or their belief systems challenged. What they've learned all their lives, they don't want that tampered with.
Yeah, most people are pretty open when I talk to them, but I guess if I have any pushback, it's always like the question is always like, why does it matter? And I even told them like what I just explained. It might not matter to somebody that's in their 50s or 60s or something because they already think that they're almost 1 foot in the ground. But they're not thinking about their children and grandchildren and all that and how that'll affect them, especially if they think that things have gotten worse, right? So like if you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, people, I'm trying to tell you, man, that was a great time. I'm not gonna lie. Those times were really good in the 80s and the 90s, even the early 2000s. But those 90s, man, yeah, it was so awesome. See, he'll tell you, malls were malls. People actually talked to each other in the mall. It was, yes, it's crazy. People were by each other, and everything you do online, you would be doing in person. You couldn't just pick up your phone. If you wanted to use the phone, it had to be a pay phone or a house phone. You didn't just carry it around. I even thought the downfall started to happen when pagers came out. Do you remember that?
I remember pagers, but I think the downward spiral actually started long before that.
Really?
Yeah, just like how you see like men and women treating each other nowadays versus how they treated each other then. Like, I think the downward spiral overall happened probably around the time that they started introducing, around the time that they started making marriage more about being a business than the relationship between man and wife and the creator. And you kind of see that like right around, like if you study history, like you start to see that like right around the 30s and 40s, maybe even like a little bit later, like in the 60s. I don't know if you remember this video, it's an older video with Margaret Sanger, and she was talking about how like she thought marriage was a form of slavery. And so right around that time, like that's when you kind of start to see like all of this negative push towards or the start of it, I'll say the start of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting. Like, hey, we got our first troll. At least you're a part of that. You excited? Yeah, on TikTok. So
Really?
yeah, it's pretty funny. And his name is ironic. I'm not going to say it because he's not even worth the 3 people that are watching me. So he's not even, because it's like he has no vision, and it's he doesn't understand, like everything doesn't just shoot off. That's why he'll never be successful. I've been successful all my life. This is just another one. And then you always got to start at the bottom. Nobody starts at the top. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Yeah. Only winners know that.
And yeah, you gotta make a lot of mistakes in order to be successful too.
Yeah.
You don't always get it on the first go. Huh?
No. He's just jealous. He wish he had a studio like this. Keep praying. Maybe you'll get it. But it'll take hard work, which you're probably not used to. That's why you're trying to be a troll. But hey, thanks for following me. I like it when people follow me. Like I don't want to go too far off, but this one guy was telling me that the flat out truth tells nothing but lies. I go, hey, thanks for being a fan. And he's like, what? He goes, I don't follow you. I go, then how do you know I spread lies? Right?
Got him.
Got him. And he was like, what? He got so confused. It was pretty funny. It was on somebody else's live. It was amazing. And yeah.
To Scott Win 00. He said the heart. My 2 cents. Hey, thanks, Scott. Scott Win. Thank you for sending a heart. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, man, you got to start with 1 heart to get to 2. I mean, you can't get to 1 million until you get to 10. I mean, like these guys that come on here and, think that they're something special, but they're not doing anything. What kind of negativity are they pushing? We don't do that around here, man. But you give it to me, I'll give it back to you. It's you reap what you sow, and you don't even know who you're dealing with. It's funny. He just doesn't know, Chris. But anyway,
you say certain things, and all the demons come out.
Oh yeah, they do. They all come out. And I don't usually use that word a lot, but sometimes it does fit the person. Have you heard of the demon face syndrome? Have you heard of that?
I think we kind of talked about it briefly like a week or so ago.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So somebody go and research that. That one's pretty different, because they say if you see somebody and they have what we would consider a demon face, like an ugly face, they're saying that it's not the person that looks like the demon, it's in your own head. So they're saying that you have, it doesn't mean that you're seeing everybody like that, only certain people. So the thing is, yeah, it's like they live, except for it's your own eyes, and so what are they, the person that called it a syndrome, are they trying to cover for themselves? It makes you think, don't it?
Yeah.
Because they're a demon,
Or it makes you think like, because I've worked with like in mental health for a number of years. So like, it kind of makes you think that like people actually do see certain things, but they don't really know how to articulate it.
Yeah. Express it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I totally get it. But I know some of the things that you like comic books. Now, did you always like comic books as a kid, or?
Let me correct that. I like old school comics, not the
super. That's funny. Did you ever go to Comic Cons?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yep.
Yeah, we had a big one here.
I'm supposed to go to the New York one this year, but I passed on it. So
wow.
I'm doing the one in Arizona next year.
Wow. I was always wanting to go to that San Diego one, because isn't that a big one too? Yeah, the Comic Con.
You need supervisors to get into that one.
Yeah, that's what they said. I seen it on Big Bang Theory. I actually like that show. But yeah, it's pretty funny how like the waiting. It's almost like a waiting list. It's almost like the Super Bowl, right? You know what I mean?
Oh no, it's worse than the Super Bowl because as soon as the tickets go on sale, they sell out. You literally have a deal you have to see here the day they go on sale.
Wow, it's crazy. Like yeah, we have one called the Motor City Con here, Comic Con in Detroit. It started in Dearborn in a little school, and man, it blew up. Now they got like they use the big centers around everywhere now. It's pretty big. It grew. That was like early '90s though, when I was first doing the comic book art. So that's why we have that in common. Anybody that goes to our platform, you'll see it.
I started out drawing when I was younger and painting. But I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of painted covers, man. That was fun. And sometimes, like if I made them really big, I would just use my finger for the brush and just push the paints around. And they came out pretty sweet. They're like I came up. Never really collected comic books, but I did like some of the covers. I have buddies, you know, because I was in the field. It's funny because I was in the field, but I wasn't a collector because I just draw stuff. I would draw them, ink them, color them, whatever. But I had buddies that would collect, and they would show me some of those painted covers, and I would buy the comic book just for the covered because because you know they were made. You know, the guy painted them. It was like really sweet. There was the Wolverine, I think they did, and Sabretooth. That collector. Do you remember Sabretooth?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from the 90s. Man, those were really good. Do you remember when Image came out? When all those people from Marvel jumped?
Yeah, when Rob Liefeld switched over from Marvel to Image. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because
Liefeld he's actually a Christian.
Oh, really?
I was listening. He did an interview not too long ago, and I was listening to it, and you know, he was talking about like, you know, when he still draws and stuff, but not very often, but like when he was in the industry.
Yeah.
And he talked about his life and everything.
Wow.
Like his character is Deadpool. Like he created a character, but like, you know, Marvel took his IP.
Right.
Kind of went in the opposite direction of what he wanted it to go. So.
Wow.
But yeah, he was a Christian. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't know that neither. You would have freaked me out more if you said that Spawn, you know, Todd McFarlane was. That would be like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be. I don't know. I mean, he might, because, you know, who knows?
Yeah, McFarlane was down here, or at least he used to.
Yeah, he got really famous by doing off his toys and stuff. Like, yeah, he made like a toy company or something, but he did a lot of his Spawn toys and other stuff. But everybody's like, man, what are you guys talking about? We talk about everything. I mean, this is part of his life, and I'm just glad to have met you, man. And that's part of why we do this is to meet interesting people that care about the world and other people. I think Chelsey's ready. Might jump on for a second. Is that right?
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
I mean, you can do it with the voice.
Oh, yeah. I can do my voice now. I don't know if I'm allowed to do video.
Yeah, the baby. You know what's so funny is that person's trolling, and we got this most beautiful baby, you know, and precious. And then you got this negativity, evil, vile person.
It's okay. Scott's balancing him out. Or her. I guess I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Hey, there you go.
That's why I think this is going like so well. It's like there's all sorts of interviews. Like I think I'm allowed to. It's like if you want to be on the Flat Out Truth, right? Go to our website. You can reach us there, or
just read the stuff down in the bottom.
Read the stuff in the bottom. I'll post some stuff for everybody. And like this is a one-on-one interview, but we're gonna do more lives and things in the future, so we can have group things. But this is all to reach each other. This is to tell everyone's story because everybody has a story.
Yeah, and we cover everything. I mean, like Chris knows, we go into society and men and women's relationships, history, the biblical texts. We cover everything. I mean, and he covers all that. He's one of the rare people that will talk genuinely about everything, and he's very genuine. Him and Marcus, shout out Marcus Shaka, Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. I value their time. They'll never get it back. Just like, the time that we share together or when I go on somebody else's live and stuff. I mean, everybody that's participating in there never gets that time back. And that's just the reality of it. I mean, that's why it's so precious.
Yeah, time's the only commodity you don't get back.
Yep. And everybody's time is worth the same except for the troll guy. His time's not worth the same. I'm just playing. It still is.
Is he still trolling?
I have no idea. No, he's gone.
No.
It's so funny.
He just posted that and left.
I tell you, this is really funny. He actually followed me on another live that was talking about men's issues. He's the one that jumped on, babe. He's the one that jumped on.
I think so too, yeah.
And he started going, and that mod or that host likes me because we talk about men's issues. It's actually a really good live. He's on probably right now. He invited me like several times throughout the day, but he was straight out like, hey, you have to be new because I haven't added you yet. And anybody that goes on my panel, I add just so I know that you've been on the panel. And he has rules, man. He reads these rules out. Didn't he stop him, babe?
Yes, he did.
He stopped him because, hey, because he wouldn't even goes, man, aren't you a flat earther? And he's like, hey, we have rules here. That dude was like, and he goes, if you can't abide by these rules, you're going to leave. And he left, and the host was laughing. He's like, hey, you don't come into my live and say stuff. You just don't do it. That's how
people always go. People always immediately go. Like whenever they mention like the fact that you may or may not be a flat earther, they always immediately go into the mocking aspect after they ask that question.
I think my opinion is because they have to protect what they've been indoctrinated on. Like if you say like, all right, biblical cosmology, right? So if you say that you believe everything you were taught in school, you should be able to back it up. But when you ask them, they have no idea. They don't know. All they know is that little globy thing that they've been showing since kindergarten or preschool all the way up. But they don't even realize that they don't even use those for the measurements, right? All the lines that you guys see on the globe, that's not the reality how they map anything. GPS, they use a Mercator map. They get that globe, they wrapped it on a cylinder, split it, made it into a rectangle, because you got to have the lines be a rectangle or a square to navigate. Otherwise, it does not work out. Now, the difference between, right?
I have to do land surveys, and in order to do land surveys, like you have to be what? It has to be what? Level, right?
Yep. It goes off of sea level, elevation level, eye level. Everything's level. So when they do come at me like that, I go by reality of what I know, not what somebody showed me or told me. So one of the first things I ask them is, how do you, what are your curved words for those, for eye level, sea level, and elevation level? But then, my favorite one is, this is a new one I'm going to start using. How did they go poo-poo in space? I had a guy, it's true. Like when they went on NASA and they went on their trip, right? How did they go poo-poo in space? Like, how did they do that? Where did it all go? See? Nobody knows.
I can tell you from experience of just having, 3 kids, because one of them's super stubborn and doesn't want to go on the potty. The smell that accumulates if you do not take it out is unbearable.
Like there's no way. Like, and they're in a pressurized suit, so they went poo-poo in space. So like, what they do with all that poo? They said that there was 93 bags of poo.
Yeah. So what they do with it?
I don't know.
They had to put it in the airlock, right?
I have no idea. But they can't come up with it. You ask them, man. Yeah, it's funny, man. When you ask them and they try to Google it, dude, it's like all kinds of crazy things come up. So they'll come up with a new narrative and try to figure out how they did it. And how did they even get dressed? Did you ever see them try to get dressed? Somebody has to dress them.
No, I've never rewatched any of the. I think I've watched the videos that I've seen of them allegedly being in space. You could tell it was like they were using a green screen, because items would be there, and then suddenly they're not there anymore. So,
Yeah, and the '60s is really amazing though. Like we've seen them like on movies though, like where the guys they don't dress themselves, somebody dresses them. You know, shoot, that's almost like, all right. A lot of these things, like I think is interesting. Like Chelsey ran track. Shoot, some of those people put on those track suits. Man, it takes some hours. Or like the swimming ones. You ever hear that? The swimmer takes like an hour or two to get it on because they're so tight.
Yeah.
Sometimes I mean, it just, yeah,
dive suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, I put one on a couple times because I go diving, every now and then.
Oh, yeah. Even the Olympic swimmers, because they have it so tight. There was that famous one that fought against that and won her case or whatever for the what happened with the
Riley.
Yes, the Riley.
Mm-hmm.
She won a big court case because of the gender thing. But anyway, so you went diving. You went diving?
Oh yeah. I do diving from time to time.
Like high dives?
No, not skydiving.
No, high diving. Like.
Yeah, I'm talking about. He's talking about diving.
Yeah, diving.
Like, yeah,
in the water.
Yeah, like when you do like the the high dives and stuff.
No, I think Have you done that too? Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I would jump if I had to save my children or my wife, but I'm not. I mean, for me, I'd say we're gonna fight like right here, and somebody else is going. It's not gonna be me.
You have a spot down here, like you've been to Slide Rock, right, in Sedona, right?
I have not. Chelsea's been
I
have been to Sedona. Where at in Sedona?
It's in Slide Rock. So there's a little section in Slide Rock where you can jump off the cliffs into the water. It's probably about maybe like 100-foot dive.
I think we heard about it, but we never went because we were driving through Sedona on our way to the Grand Canyon. So we stopped for like knickknacks.
Yeah, but you have to like kind of walk around the mountain and kind of hug the mountain in order to get up there. And then once you get up there, the only way back down is you can either go back around and climb down, or you can jump off and then, swim down. But yeah, there's a little spot there.
Oh, that's crazy. Uh-oh. So this is the thing though. This is what fascinates me about like distance, right? To me, 100 feet, like on a level plane, doesn't look that far, right? You see it, and you go 100 feet, it doesn't seem. But man, if you're up 100 feet, it's way different. Do you agree with that? Anybody? When you're looking down 100 feet, it's different than when you're looking across 100 feet.
Yeah, it's way different. Like if you're looking down and you're not used to it, it's scary.
Yeah, it's like it's really far, 100 feet. I just really, I went up when I was 19. I was in Texas and I was helping my uncle with his business roofing, and he was doing a roof on a three-story hotel, and we went up there and you're young, and he says not to do something, so you do it. He's like, don't stand on the peak and then look straight up, and then you'll get dizzy. So don't do that. So I went and did it. I got dizzy and I didn't like it because you can't see anything. You can't see the ground or anything. Right. But you can feel you're higher. It's really weird. So don't do that. I really mean don't do it. But if you do it, tell me. So anyway, are we ready to jump off? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there were some people chatting in there. So.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. His name's way too long, and I'll call him anonymous. Was saying there's some file, like 37,000 files deleted connecting to i.e. the judge that let him off. Let's see. CCTV from the scene lastly did. I'm not sure who he's talking about.
I think he's talking about that guy that. Is he talking about the guy that got arrested, the politician, or the guy that got arrested in Georgia? Well, he fled Louisiana to Georgia with a group of people.
CCTV? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I tried.
Maybe he'll elaborate on it before we go. But anyway, I guess we're getting ready to switch over. And thanks for joining us. And this is one of our good friends. I just wanted to bring somebody on that people would say is just a regular Joe, but he's a regular Chris. And how like it just changes your life. I mean, to start, digging in and taking what responsibility, right? That's what it is. I mean, he's a father, and we didn't even get into all that, right? I mean, you want to get into that a little bit? You're a dad, and I think you look out for your children, and that's what you're trying to do too. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that later if you want. So
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that later. All right. So we'll be leaving here. Thanks, TikTok and TikTok Shop and all the rest of the viewers. We'll be signing off. But if you want to catch the rest of this, we will be going to theflatouttruth.com. They can't, I mean, I guess they could stop it now. But if you want to become a member, just go there. It's free. And we have our own private platform, and we will continue this unchained so that we can actually get into everything that's deep. And that's what Chris wants to get into. And I know Marcus is waiting. So, and you got anything else to say?
No,
You good? All right. So I'm Paulino B. Michael.
I'm Chelsey B. Michael.
And as always, be safe.
Be blessed.
And that's the flat out truth.